Today we're exploring einkorn, the original wheat. I mean, it's one of the very first grains our ancestors cultivated like over 10,000 years ago. So what makes einkorn so special for us today is packed with more protein and vitamins and minerals than many of the common flours. Many people who are sensitive to gluten find that einkorn is a wonderfully gentle and delicious option that allows them to enjoy amazing bread again. Okay, so I went ahead and milled up the einkorn berries for us, and you're gonna want to have 720 grams of the einkorn, and it's helpful if you have a kitchen scale. And if you don't have the Wonder Mill or some kind of mill to grind your own berries, you can just use an einkorn flour already in the store. Let me go ahead and tare my scale. And the next thing that we're going to add is 15 grams of salt. So go ahead and I like to sprinkle it all around so it can really get mixed in there really good. If you can find a good quality salt, 13, one more gram, 15 grams. The next thing that we need is about 470 grams of water. So I let this sit out because I want mine to be, let me tare my scale again. I want mine to be, and you want yours to be, room temperature. You don't want it to be too cold, but you also don't want it to be too warm. And also you want to make sure that it is filtered because you don't want chlorinated water. That will kill the bacteria in the starter, which we're about to do. Let me tare my scale again. Okay, and then you want 200 grams of an active starter. So I fed my starter last night, and if you can tell, it's on the rise because you see all those bubbles? So it's active. This is gonna help give, I always like to give it a stir first, but this is gonna help our dough have that beautiful rise, you know, just like they did in the ancient times. So we're just making this a complete ancient bread, which I just find so fun. Okay, tared my scale, and I'm just gonna put it right on top. And you know, with the bread making, it's all about taking your time and enjoying the process, right? And especially when you're dealing with the scale, because it takes a minute for the scale numbers to catch up, but it also can be just like therapeutic because you can just turn on your music and just relax. But I will say, if yours doesn't turn out perfectly the first time, it'll still taste good. So even if it doesn't, you know, look all beautiful like mine will, that's okay. It's going to be really good. But yours probably will turn out beautiful because this recipe is like amazing. I got it from Heidi's Healthy Kitchen, and I've tried a lot of different einkorn recipes. Boy, this one's like a no-fail recipe, like for real. She did a great job of creating this one. 211. Got a little bit over. That's okay. All right, let's set that right there for just a second. Okay, now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna give this a big stir. Our dough looks like, and we're gonna just mix it until it's all combined. And if you've noticed, I've got two spatulas here. When working with einkorn, I love to use my spatulas because it is a, you know, sticky dough, and it can be a little bit different to work with if you're just used to working with, you know, all-purpose flour. And so when it gets a little like too sticky, I can just scrape it off with my other spatula. But I take it around the sides, and I just continue to mix it. Usually takes me, you know, about 5 minutes to mix it all together. Okay, so it's all mixed in. You know, it doesn't have to all, like every single dry part be mixed in, because the einkorn is going to absorb the water. And then I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it rest for 15 minutes. By the way, these shower caps are great because they seal in the moisture, and they're reusable, so you can reuse them over and over. Okay, so the timer just went off. So it's now time to, before I do the next step, I did want to show you this is what my dough looks like to give you an idea. So it's kind of like what they call a shaggy looking dough. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our spatulas again, and I am going to fold this over about, let me move this so you can see it. Fold this over about, 4, maybe 6 times from the bottom just to mix it around. And I like to move my bowl a quarter of a turn as I do it. Just makes it easier. And again, you can do this with your hands. I just find it easier to do with a spatula. I've done it with my hands before. At this part of the dough, I just loved using my spatula. And one more. Oops. All right. And then what I like to do is I just scrape it off. What we're going to do, y'all, is we are going to cover the bowl and let it rest for another 15 minutes. Okay, we're just going to do one more real quick mix, and then we're going to pop it in the oven. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Just wanted you to see what my dough looks like. It's still just a shaggy dough, but I can tell that the liquid has absorbed. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, which is just grab it from the sides and turn it and do it 6 times. Easy peasy. And then again, I'll just scrape it off with my spatulas. There we go, perfect. Okay, let's cover your bowl again. And we're gonna put it in the oven, the turned off oven, for 8 hours. If you're pinched for time, you can put it in here for 6 hours. And we're gonna let it rise. Now, here's what I wanna say with the oven is that my house is cold. So if your house isn't cold, you don't have to put it in the oven, but I just like to put mine in the oven because it's a place that's going to be consistently warm, but I mean, not too warm, but it's just a good environment. Also, I've got my little sticky note here that says do not use oven. The bread is rising. So that's just so that nobody will turn the oven on. All right, I'll see you in 8 hours. It's about time to get our dough out of the oven. So I want to mention rice flour. What I like to do is I like to line the Banneton basket with a little bit of rice flour, and I like to get it really good into all the fibers of the linen here so that it won't stick. And also, you'll see later when we do the scoring, the white helps make the scoring stand out. So it's a really pretty contrast. Okay, we're going to get it out of the oven. Now, it should have risen to about 3 times its size. So look at this, and you'll know it's ready when you see all those bubbles. Okay, doesn't that look beautiful? So we know it's ready. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my cover off, and it smells so good. And we are going to put it on a clean surface. That works really well. And I'm just going to scrape it out of the bowl. And this next part it's my favorite part. It's where we're going to shape our ancient Einkorn sourdough bowl for the proofing basket. And by the way, this is what we're making with this ancient bread is called a sourdough boule, and boule just means ball in French. So what I like to do is I just like to get some flour. This is some leftover milled flour. If you're not milling your flour, that's fine. Just put a scoop of flour here on the side. And then what I like to do is I have this dough scraper. If you don't have a dough scraper, you can also use your hand, so no big deal. And I like to get it from the side right here and then pull it underneath and then fold it over. So I just keep on doing this where I grab it from the side, pull underneath, and fold it over. Grab it on the side, pull it underneath, and fold it over. And it just helps you, it's like a extension of your hand. But you don't have to have it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to shape this to a round ball. And then you can also dust your hands with flour. That way it'll keep the dough from sticking to your hands, and then you can work it with your hands. I love this part. Okay, Okay, once you have a workable dough, now is my absolute favorite part. This is where we are going to add some tension to the dough. So what you're going to do is you're going to, what I like to do is I like to put it in a ball, and then you're going to kind of like roll it over to the side. Can you see that? Turn it into a ball, and then cup it with your hands and pull it over. Okay, so what we're doing is we're creating some surface tension here. So that's going to give your sourdough bread, your ancient bread, a really good rise, because you don't want it to spread out. We want it to be, ooh, it's so pretty. This is so fun. You do this about 8 to 10 times. I wish y'all could talk back because I'm like this, wait, what number am I on? But this looks good. I'll do it 2 more times. There we go. And you want to make sure that the flour underneath, like you're pulling it, and it's not just, gotta pull it, because if it's just sliding across, you're not doing anything. All right, that looks really good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, plop it in my banneton, and I am going to cover it, and I'm going to put it in the fridge for 12 to 15 hours. And that's it, and I will see you in the morning. Okay, it's the next day, and our dough has been sitting out on the countertop for 30 minutes. My oven has been preheating for 30 minutes at 475. So this is the best part. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take our dough out. We're gonna put it on parchment paper. And thanks to that rice flour, it just popped out. Isn't that wonderful? And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take our lamb and we are going to score it so that it will burst open. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get some rice flour because I want the top to have that contrast, and I want a little bit more contrast. All right, so you see how it's brown right there? And you can leave it. This is just for aesthetic purposes, just to make it, just stand out a little bit more on top. So I'm just rubbing a little bit of rice flour right there. And now we're going to use our lamb to score it. So you can do any design that you want. I'm just going to give it a little semicircle. And then I think I'm going to do just some nice little cuts right there. And this helps the dough to be able to burst open. All right, that's done. I'll put my little protector on because this thing is sharp. And I am going to put on my oven mitts. Let's go get the Dutch oven out of the oven. Open it. It's real hot. Don't want to let that steam out or the heat out. All right. By the way, I'm going to put this right here because that gets really hot. You don't want to burn your counters. Okay. Take your parchment paper dough, stick it in here, and get your spritz. This creates a little bit more steam. I just spritz it really good. And we are going to put the top back on it and then stick it in the oven. Here we go. All right, this thing's heavy, so I'm gonna open the oven real quick. That way it's ready. All right, here we go. Remember, lift with your legs, not with your back. Okay, it is at 475 right now. That's to get it to be really hot to create that steam. I'm changing it now to 450. And we're going to leave it in there for 40 minutes. And then the last 5 minutes, I'm going to take the lid off to give it like a little bit of a darker, crackly crust. Okay, the 40 minutes has been up. So now I'm going to take the lid off. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm just going to put it back in here for 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. So look at the top. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so we're gonna set it right there. And then what we're gonna do is I'm going to take it out and we are going to put it on our baking pan to let it cool. Now, I would like to say that we want to not cut into it right now. We want to let it cool for 30 minutes because it's still going to bake the inside crumb. That's just the interior of the bread. And it's still going to be warm, but we want to give it that extra 30 minutes. And then we're going to do, obviously my favorite part is the taste test. Okay, it's been cooled. I did want to show you the back part. I don't like mine like super dark, so this is exactly how I like it. And as you can see, the beautiful coloring and with that rice flour, how it looks, I just love that. Now let's go ahead and give it a taste test. Look at the inside. Isn't that beautiful? And what I want to do is I want to taste this, but I don't want to have any butter or oil on it. I just want to taste it just exactly how I made it. It's really good because it's chewy on the outside with the crust. The inside is like tender and soft, just like I like it. And it's got a sourdough, you know, a little bit of that tangy flavor, not too intense, not too mild, like just right. So this is just wonderful. And there you have it, a beautiful loaf of our ancient bread made with the ancient grain einkorn. It's a wonderful way to connect with the history of baking right in your own kitchen. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today on Fresh Flour Living. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss our next baking adventure. Happy baking, and I'll see you in the next one.